Welcome to Random Conflux.
Where today we
Hold on.
Okay.
Let's ask YouTube what they want to talk about first. So YouTube, what do you want to talk about? Because I know what I want to talk about. You know what you want to talk about?
Are we finally gonna have that entire discussion about mayonnaise?
No, and not ever.
But we found out you can eat Miracle Whip, Zach. It's the one condiment that doesn't have vinegar.
Just no. And for those listening, do not say Miracle Whip.
Hashtag Miracle Whip in the
It'll
comments.
just go into file 13. Anyways, I want to talk about Galactic Fury.
Cosmic Fury, you mean?
Cosmic Fury!
But there was a Lost Galaxy Power Rangers season where they, for the morphing scene, they said go galactic. Didn't they?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Or Power of Orion,
Something like that.
when they would use the power up.
Yeah.
Or Lights of Orion.
Yeah.
But this isn't about Lost Galaxy. And if you're lost in the galaxy, then you really need to find yourself. And since we're talking about something that just came out, last month? This month?
Yeah. There may be spoilers for Cosmic Fury, so we will give you 10 seconds to think about if you want to watch this video.
Well,
10.
it's not just Cosmic
Yeah.
Fury. It's also some spoilers about Once and Always.
Yeah.
Some spoilers about Dino Fury.
Yeah.
So, we'll give you some time. If you're still watching this and you complain that we spoiled something for you, then go buy the ducks. Tail feathers. Yeah, go buy the duck's tail feathers.
But what about the duck? How would
I'm
it
pretty
feel?
sure it's consensual.
I think topic's over with that. Yeah, that's what happened in Cosmic Fury, everybody. They won by biting a duck. And no.
But in all seriousness, there's plenty of people that have the chance to see it. It's on Netflix. In my opinion, it's a really good show.
Yeah.
Not biting duck tail feathers, but
No, that didn't happen.
Cosmic Fury. Really good show. Go watch it if you haven't already done so.
Yes.
Again, Once and Always.
Also
Really
very
good. Very well done. Go watch it. If you haven't seen them, then why the heck are you still listening to this video?
Yeah. And I will argue, say it's probably one of the better seasons they've had lately. Not the best season, but one of the probably the best one lately in a while. They did a very good job with it.
And right now, we're going to rehash some of the stuff that we thought was going to happen. And
That we were right about. And
well,
some stuff.
just
Yeah.
what we said. So we're going to rehash back to a prior video that we had on our thoughts of what was going to happen in this season.
Yeah.
And compare that to what actually did happen.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering, I actually wrote some bullet points down.
For once.
And it's right in front of me, so sort of on the script. People kind of
There's still no script.
there's no script. Half the shit that we say is just off the top of our head.
Yeah.
And
One thing we were right about, that was actually pretty easy to predict, was Billy coming back as a mentor, because that made sense.
yeah, that's kind of the thing is we were gonna say what we did say,
Yeah.
and then compare that to what did happen. So with the Billy thing, that did come true.
Yeah. So, sorry, you can continue.
But we also knew that was something that was going to happen.
We knew it was very likely because he was, yeah.
Because with Once and Always, he did have kind of that mentor streak about him. even though Trinity's daughter really didn't see Billy as a mentor, she pushed more to Zack because she blamed Billy for her mom being dead.
And I would have liked to see Trinity's daughter in it. They did show the Yellow Ranger, but she was masked. Like, she didn't show her out of costume. And I thought that would have been cool.
Yeah.
But Billy was cool.
Well, they did. I believe they made reference that it was her.
Yeah, they made reference to it.
I forget which actor did make a reference to it, but it was there.
And there was a lot of other references to other parts too. So we were right about Zed, which made sense because that's where it left off.
Yeah. But what I don't get, and this is something that I would have liked to see happen, was when they were showing the battle that was breaking down and explaining like the battle has been going on for a few months. That would have taken place around the same time as the events of Once and Always. And to me, I would have liked to see some of those events hash out in both shows.
I can see your point with that. Like, you could say that Once and Always took place before that, so you can kind of argue it that way.
Then you would have to say that it took place before the events of not just Cosmic Fury, but also Dino Fury too. Because even though it took over a year to actually produce the show, and well, it was a little over a year to actually produce the show and then get it out. They more or less had the option to kind of combine both if they wanted to.
And they did to an extent, but you wish like Once and Always showed a little more of this the Cosmic Fury stuff.
Well, yeah, but I understand why they didn't.
Yeah.
But they could have done a little bit more with the Easter egg about Rita coming back.
Yeah. Which we were kind of right about Rita, but in a different way. It was, like I said, this is spoilers, but...
I did say she was going to take over a robot body.
Yeah, no, we were right about that. I was talking about...
It was just the wrong robot.
No, I was talking about her coming back in Cosmic Fury. She technically did.
But it was a hallucination. But that's also one of the things that I got right. Yeah. And finding out the reason why they chose Alpha for the body.
It was too easy.
And it was actually the last minute decision.
It was too easy for one. Well, we're not going to
detail. It was just the fact that
people were predicting.
And it wasn't just my guess that was right about it. There were a lot of people like predicting it. And some of the people that had like an inside source was actually leaking that information, which I didn't know anything about. And no, I don't have an inside source. I'm just a fan like everyone else.
And Alpha was a different twist on it.
And Alpha was a different twist. Like, I would have thought she would have used the Queen of the Robotic Empire.
Yeah.
And that's something that I thought.
That's what I thought too. We both were thinking that, yeah.
And finding out that was the case.
It was one of the original plans and they scrapped it.
Yeah. And it, like, they didn't really want to scrap it because it was a really good idea. And then finding out they did scrap it for the Alpha idea.
Yeah, the Alpha idea was cool too. But
back to Cosmic Fury, a lot of the things that we said were going to happen actually kind of did happen.
Yeah, I know.
The stuff with Billy.
Yeah, one thing I didn't quite expect, but it made sense when it did it, was turning the Blue Ranger evil.
I kind of expected that because they did that in the last season, and
to bring it back again made sense.
Yeah. To know that you can, and to have that impression on your mind,
it opens up more.
It's like, well, I already know I can control this person.
Yeah.
I've done it before. I'll just do it again.
Yeah.
And that was one of those things where it was a little bit of, like, you knew it was going to happen even though I don't think anybody mentioned it.
Yeah.
happening.
And on the opposite end, you got to see a couple of bad guys from the previous season turn good. That's always something that's cool.
Well, yeah, Zed kind of turned good.
No, not Zed. I was talking about like the Mushroom Girl and the
magician
guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that
was... the two henchmen. Like seeing like bad guys turn good is always interesting.
Well, that's not the first time that they've had that happen.
No. In fact,
Ninja Storm had it where Lothar's daughters turned good.
Yeah. Also in space, Astronema, when she became good, she got her real name back. She became Karone, and she actually became the second Pink Ranger in Lost Galaxy.
Yeah. But she turned back. She turned good, and then she wasn't really brainwashed to begin with. She was just tricked by, I think it was Dark Spectre.
Yeah, and then she was brainwashed.
Well, hold on. She was tricked by Dark Spectre into thinking that the Power Rangers were the enemies, that it was because the Power Rangers that her brother was killed, and that she was kidnapped.
Yeah.
And they treated her good, so they didn't really have to brainwash her. But when she realized that the Red Ranger was really her brother, it wasn't that hard for her to change sides. It was the moment she realized, oh, you are my brother. You're not just the figment of my imagination. You're not a lie. You are alive. And it was that moment when she looked down at his pendant and she looked down at her own, you could see that she was going back to being herself, Karone.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I think it was Ecliptor, the black and green robot looking guy.
Yeah, he brainwashed her basically. He's like a
he
chip
took
thing.
her back, kidnapped her again, and used some tech to brainwash her.
Yeah.
And then Andros had to get her back on the good side again.
Yeah, the Zoran wave is what turned her good. Speaking of which, they referenced that in Cosmic Fury.
Yeah.
Because they were doing the same thing with Zed.
They were doing a lot of references to the final battle of In Space. They made a lot of reference. The Z wave, Zoran wave, just a lot of references between Zed and Zordon. They even threw some Boom comic references in there.
Yeah, I noticed that. Like the Dino Fury Ranger was actually originally from Boom Comics because he became good in Dino Fury, but they didn't show him morphing until
Who?
The Dino Fury Ranger or Dino Charge Ranger that was in there. He was a villain that became good. Going back to that, but he, if I remember right, but he didn't morph in the show, but he morphed in the comics, and then they had him morphing in the show. So that was cool.
I think there was some mix-up in that because I do remember him morphing in the show.
He might have. It's been a while since I watched it. I might have to go back and see it. But
well, I could be mistaken.
Yeah.
But
we don't claim to be experts. We just
we're just fans like everyone else.
Yeah.
Nobody here has an inside source. I do talk to some friends. They don't know what's going on inside Netflix or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's nothing really they can tell me.
Yeah. Now back to our second bullet point. It says our opinion about MF. That stands for muscular fitness, right?
No.
Then how about mini friends?
That's leprechauns.
Or
no.
magical phalanges with an F instead of a PH?
No, and not magical fairies either. Even though magical fairies would be cool. And if you're a magical fairy and you're listening to this, then yeah, awesome.
Yeah, we won't say what else I can say more, but it stands for Megazord fight.
Yeah, our opinions on the Megazord fight and what we thought could happen.
Now, all the fights were decent. We're talking about like the big one where like the other, yeah.
To me, it kind of went back to the old 1990s Megazord fight from the Power Rangers, the movie. Or more from Power Rangers.
Where it was a little too CG. Yeah. Like, Once and Always did a good CG fight. I don't know where they lost that. Now, it was cool seeing all those Megazords.
I think it was just the quality of the Megazords, or they went back to rehash some of the old footage.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and I honestly think that part was rushed because of the way it looked.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like they literally edited those ships in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was still cool to see, but it could have been done better.
Like,
and considering the quality of the show from up to that point in that season, that was like probably the worst looking CG in the show.
And to me, it looked like it was out of place. It looked more 2D than 3D.
Yeah. And I would have liked to see the older Megazords fight a little more too. But, yeah.
But it was more focused on the Cosmic Fury Rangers.
Yeah, and I agree it should be, but seeing those in the background do a little more than fighting with.
Just holding off the henchmen, it would have been more to see them.
Yeah.
I had a tickle in my throat. But to me, it didn't look like the best that they could have done. Compared to the other Megazord that was in that same shot, it looked like a copy and paste type of thing, where the other swords were 2D compared to the actual suitimation.
Yeah, it could have been done a little better. I mean, it didn't have to be like spot on, but there were ways to fix it. And
what got me was when I was watching it and I slowed it down and I paused it just at the right moment. I was able to see like a white outline around the original Megazord. And to me, it looked like a torn...
Like where they cut out. And and that doesn't mean it wasn't awesome to see, but they could have done better, is all we were saying.
Yeah, what I think, and I can be corrected down in the comments, but I believe they used old stock footage and rushed it in.
They probably could have. That's very possible. Like, we're not like dissing it. It's still a very good season, but that's like our one gripe.
And I can tell the other Megazords.
Yeah.
Like, it was just very bad quality. I mean, the fight was awesome to see, but the older Megazords were just very bad quality, very badly done.
Yeah.
But the fight was still awesome.
Yeah, all same. I agree.
Another bullet point I have is what effects of Once and Always had on Galactic Fury. And do you think that if someone wanted to, they could compare, like, okay, maybe this was happening over in this area and this part was still going on, but you don't see most of it?
There are some references. Like, you can say that Once and Always took place, like, shortly before the events of Cosmic Fury, if you wanted to, like, put it in canon-wise. And there were references to it. Like, for instance...
if you actually think about it, the events of the first scene, the first episode, was actually taking place shortly after the events of Dino Fury.
Yeah.
And that's the way that it was mentioned during the show. Like, as soon as Dino Fury cut off after Zato getting that message, that's when the battle pursued. But that was also on a whole different planet.
Yeah.
So you can go and say that, okay, the events of Once and Always was happening on Earth, while Zed had the Dino Fury Rangers on a different planet. So what was going on with Rita and what was going on with Zed was happening at the same time.
Yeah.
Just in two different places.
And there were some references to it. Like, for instance, they mentioned, Billy mentioned that Zack's Hip Hop Keto, his, like, fighting style, confused the robot minions.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny. I could see that actually happening.
No, he said it would have confused.
No, he said it did confuse him.
No, because he was talking about the robot minions that were there. He said if Zack was here, his Hip Hop Keto would confuse the minions.
No, I think it was actually that it did, because he did go back to help his team, like off screen, and they showed like him on camera, and he mentioned that Hip Hop Keto was confusing the things. If I remember the scene right.
I'll have to put we'll put a snippet of it in there.
Yeah.
With a disclaimer like you don't own this footage. Shut phone.
The phone wants to talk about it. What do you think about the topic, phone?
Was that my phone or your phone?
I have my stuff.
Your phone's there. Oh, it was my phone. Okay. Well, that happened.
Well, that was the phone's opinion, everybody. Just.
But I do think for it to happen at the same time and for Billy to be there at that moment, I think like it would be hard to say that it was happening at the same time, considering the fact that due to the story of Once and Always, it spanned over multiple days. Not just production-wise, but the story of it spanned over multiple days. And for him to be on that particular planet at that exact time, it would throw some caveats into the mix.
I think at the end of Once and Always, he did say he was traveling around. He needed to go somewhere for something, and that's how they explained it, if I remember right.
But, like, did he just get there and find out that there was a battle, or did it just happen, like, moments after he showed up?
Yeah, so it's hard to tell.
There's not enough information there to tie that together.
Yeah. Now, something kind of surprising, and this is a huge spoiler, so if you guys haven't seen it and you don't want this spoiled, turn it off right now. Even though you're probably still watching.
Hey, if you haven't... If this has to do with Once and Always and you haven't just gone and watched
no, this
it
is
by
spoiler
now,
for Cosmic Fury, too.
Or you haven't watched Cosmic Fury, why are you still listening to this video?
but yeah, back
That's something that we've said in the beginning of the video. There are spoilers. And if you don't like it, then get over yourself.
Okay, now back to topic. In Cosmic Fury, in Once and Always, Billy, the reason why he found Rita by accident was he was searching for Zordon in the morphing grid, right?
Yeah.
What's his name? The Gold Ranger in Cosmic. I can't remember his name because my brain's.
Zeta?
No, not Zeta. Zeta.
Zeta!
Was it? Oh,
Yeah. That was the Red Ranger.
Not the Red Ranger, the Gold Ranger. Zeta was the red one.
Zeta was the Red Ranger.
Yeah, I'm looking for the Gold Ranger. Hold on. Get their name right here. Why?
Sion? Ion.
I think Ion. Let me double check. Gold Ranger and Cosmic Fury.
Yeah, I believe it was Ion.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
He gets teleported when Zeta gets taken again.
Yeah, and he ends up like unconscious, but in the morphing grid, and he meets.
Like his spirit goes into the morphing grid because he wouldn't let go of Zeta.
Yeah.
And when Zeta was rising up to go into the morphing grid, he actually grabbed a hold of Zeta.
Yeah.
And he was spiritually pulled out of his own body and went into the morphing grid.
Yeah, and as a spoiler, this is a spoiler, he ends up actually running into Zordon.
Which he thinks is Zeta, but he's never seen Zordon.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't know what Zordon looked like, but considering the fact that everything in that void was his own depiction of what the morphing grid would be, and he's looking for Zeta.
He finds what he thinks is Zeta.
He finds what he thinks is Zeta, and that's his mind like projecting an image on someone he doesn't know.
Yeah.
And how cool would it be for, instead of Sato to come back, if they do continue that storyline, what if Zordon comes back?
They bring that actor, but
in Sato's body.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome because if you think about it, it would be the only body that Zordon would have actually had in the morphing grid.
And going back to our next topic, what do you think the show will go from? That's actually a very possible scenario. If they decide to bring that actor back as Zordon, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and that was so funny. It was so big going into that.
Yeah. I wasn't even planning that.
But I think that, well, considering the fact that the executive producers of Power Rangers for Netflix has already given out some statements and said that they're done with Sentai.
Yeah.
They're no longer using anything Sentai. They're coming up with their own stories. They're coming up with their own suits.
Which I'm kind of sad to see, but I'm also looking forward to see where they go from here with that.
Yeah.
Because they have the budget for it now because it's Netflix. So, yeah.
If Netflix doesn't have the budget, then I don't know what Netflix is doing, but they can keep making that paper boo-boo, but...
Paper what?
Paper boo-boo. I don't know. I was kind of trying to hit my Cat White there, but...
What the heck's a Cat White?
Okay, you don't know Cat White. Awesome comedian.
Okay.
You gotta watch some of his stuff.
Okay.
But he's also a pop.
Okay, anyways. Changing topics. Paper Boo Boo, comments below. No.
It was just something that he mentioned about a certain substance that grows naturally, and if you so happen to set it on fire, it has some effects.
Yeah, well,
and people subscribe it as a chemical substance.
Yeah,
and by me saying this, I'm not going to get it taken off air. It's YouTube. What do you expect? If Cat Williams didn't get taken off the air. I say Cat White, didn't I? I meant Cat Williams.
Regardless, neither of us do it, but that's besides the point.
Well, I got friends that did it. I wonder how it opens. It's your choice if you want to do it. But, getting back to what I was saying is that it was just a snippet of going back to the actual thing.
Actually, my own off topic. My only real experience with that was I used the oils for my knees a few times because I have bad knees. Actually, the oils work pretty well.
You're not supposed to put it on your skin.
No, it's like the cream.
Oh,
the CBD cream, yeah.
Yeah. And quite frankly, if that's something you want to do, then go right ahead.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of which, since I did bring this up, and so I don't get taken off or a strike on the channel, CBD is a chemical found in weed or marijuana. It does have municipal properties, and just so people understand, you don't have to be a drug addict to use something of that nature.
Like I said, I used the creams and stuff before, and they do work.
There's more harm to you taking Tylenol than there is using CBD.
Yeah.
For most things. Yeah. And CBD is a natural substance. And actually, it's in most things you find. Most teas have CBD oil also put in because there's a small mixture of marijuana and some forms of tea. Matter of fact, most of your cheap tea like Lipton used to use marijuana as a substance.
Used to being the word. But
I don't know if they still do, but before you start interrupting me.
I wasn't trying to, sorry.
And just so people at home understand that we're not saying go smoke this crap. I'm just saying that there are some municipal properties to it, And if it's something that you do recreational, then, be smart about it. But if you're actually using it for municipal purposes, then, again, be smart about it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go around saying, hey, I have this, blah, 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 because all you're going to do is cause problems. And, if you think it's going to bring you friends, it's not.
No.
It's just going to bring you a heartache and bullshit crap. So, since I was going to mention that as a little passing thing, I might as well just be a little bit more open about what it is and what it can do and the properties of it.
Yeah.
And not all forms of weed has CBD. It's in oil for most forms of it. But there's also a lot of other things that they do to it to make it more addictive and all that other stuff. But that's not here nor there.
It's not even what our topic's about.
No, it's just I wanted to clarify that so YouTube could understand that I'm not trying to bullshit anybody or say something about a topic that I really don't know anything about.
Yeah.
And I do know about it. I do have a friend that grows it, but he grows it for municipal purposes, and he does sell it to pharmacies, like licensed pharmacies, and you have to get a license to grow. But with that being said, we're going to go back onto the topic of where do we think the show and a whole will go from the ending of Cosmic Fury. Do you think that they're going to completely reboot the whole franchise, restarting with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers with a whole different cast? Or do you think that they're just going to continue, but they're no longer going to go with the Sentai connection?
I think a little of both, because this kind of acted like a soft reboot for the show. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you still keep all that old continuity, but...
Well, I can see kind of where you're going with that. Let me know if I'm wrong. But you see it as a small reboot.
Yeah.
Where I see it as a possibility of continuing in a different direction. I think that, and it has been said that the producers have over 10 years of ideas for Power Rangers.
Yeah.
That they're wanting to do.
Yeah.
They don't know if they can do all of those ideas, but they have about 10 years of Power Ranger ideas that they're wanting to do. And it's completely off the top of their head, nothing having any connection to Sentai whatsoever, and they're wanting to go and make that a thing, and they can't do those ideas with Sentai. And they want to come up with their own ideas. They want to come up with their own suits. They want to come up with their own storylines. To me, with that information known, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people watching this that actually do know that and have seen that interview. If not, go ahead, watch it. You can find it on YouTube. But I do think that instead of a hard reboot, it's going to just be a new generation of Power Rangers.
Not a full reboot, but a way to start fresh with it.
Yeah. I think just having the ability to come up with your own stories and not have to work around someone else's idea, that you can you can make Power Rangers something more than what it used to be. Although, I do love the original Power Rangers, and again, I'm a big fan of them. I'm pretty sure the same with you. And I'm guessing those people that are listening to this, Samesies, right? Because you wouldn't be watching a Cosmic Fury episode if you didn't want anything to do with Power Rangers. You wouldn't want to know our opinions about a show. You wouldn't know what we thought going forward. So, like... But that's kind of my opinion, that instead of a hard reboot, it's more of like, okay, well, we've already established this, but it needs to be taken away from Sentai to the point where it doesn't have to rely on the show.
So kind of like what I was saying, like a soft reboot, but they're still continuing with the story.
Yeah. I think it's done with, and they've already said it is. It's done with Sentai.
Yeah.
But Power Rangers isn't done in general. They've used Sentai footage for so long that there's not really any more good ideas to come from Sentai. And Sentai has reused so many assets in their programming. And yes, it worked for Sentai, but it's not really working for Power Rangers.
So you think that they should start fresh with stuff?
Yeah, because...
I don't see anything wrong if they were to continue Sentai, but I want to see where they go with the new stuff. You know?
Yeah. And the people at Boom Comics, awesome people, mind you. And the guy that comes up with the stories for Boom Comics, he's got some excellent ideas. And he does his own thing. He doesn't go back and watch Sentai just to get some inspiration. He comes with it on the fly, and you know, to me, if they ask him to come in and work as a writer for the new season, I think that would be a better change in the right direction. And compared to my brother, he seems like he's wanting me to wrap things up. So that's what I'm going to do. With just the final little snippets of all the information we're speaking of. Going back to what I was saying, like, I'm gonna wrap things up anyway, so you believe that it's a whole new, like, reboot. You think maybe they're going back to doing a new version of My Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah, I think I said that in the last video.
And I think that they're going to take it forward. I think that they're going to take what was already established and carry that over, but without the Sentai influence. Because it's hard to come up with a new story just by going off of a Sentai counterpart.
Yeah.
And if you're using a Sentai counterpart, like, you have to ravel the story within that counterpart.
Yeah. And yes, the Sentai footage does save on budget because they don't have to record all those fights and stuff because it's already recorded.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, like you said, you're tied to the footage for the story.
Yeah. And to me, I think it's a whole new generation. Well, it's they're wanting to make it more TV-14. Not really too bad.
A little more adult, sort of like the CW shows.
Yeah. And I think that would be an awesome direction for Power Rangers to go. Keep it a little bit kiddie, but also make it where like an older audience can get back into it. And they'll realize, oh, we missed out having it like for a more wider audience.
Yeah.
Because back then it was more for kids, and since it was more for kids back then, they really had to cut a lot of stuff from the Sentai out.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know Japanese culture all that well, but there's a lot of things that Japanese culture sees okay for kids
That American culture
that
doesn't.
American culture doesn't.
And vice versa.
Well, most of the stuff we do is perfectly fine over there. But that's with any
culture, yeah.
any country's culture. There's always going to be a hit or miss. And just like what we say on here, a lot of people in different regions may say that we're full of shit or that we're bad-mouthing or something like that. It's not really the case. It's just, here's our opinion. This is what we have to say. If you don't like it, then, you know, say why you don't like it. Don't go around trying to get it taken off all because, well, we probably mentioned something you don't like. Or, oh, we're mad at you did too spoilers when I get to watch the show.
Hey, we did warn him.
We've warned them multiple times in this episode.
Yeah.
So, if you watched the show, if you liked it, and I'm talking about Cosmic Fury, if you did like it, then, you know, watch it again.
It was good.
I watched the whole season. It took me a day. And, matter of fact, I still go back and rewatch the show.
Yep.
It wasn't like a one and done binge. I actually do go back and rewatch the show.
Yep. And if you liked our video, please subscribe. Make sure to pet the subscribe button, like this. Pet the subscribe button. I'm petting the microphone. Is it doing anything?
Yeah. But, anyways.
Is that what petting the subscribe button sounds like? Like this?
I think it's more.
We might have to cut that out if it's too much.
But, yeah. If you like our videos, then there's a little spot down below the video somewhere. I don't have a screen pulled up for it, but there's a little box down below the screen that actually says share. If you want to, go ahead, share the video.
Share the video, subscribe to the video, subscribe to our channel, not the video.
And tell them where they can find the full video.
Yeah.
You know what? Just for the heck of it, download it. Download it to your PC, cut and paste some stuff, whatever you want. You know, using your own video, go right ahead. Because that's just showing people, hey, looky here. Look at this. Look at our channel. You know, that kind of helps us out. Then we don't have to always say, hey, like, dislike, subscribe. Hit that bell notification. But if it fancies your fanciness, then go ahead. If you like this video, not just Cosmic Fury, but if you like the topic, punch that like button in the face while you're saying it's morphin' time. Then, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Hit that button.
Yeah.
If you think we're completely batty, out of our minds, ridiculous, and you don't like anything we do, go ahead. Just like the video. No one's gonna see it, just us. And then we'll just go cry in a corner somewhere. But if you really like our videos, then, you know, there's a red button. Turn it white. Hit a little bell that's right next to it.
You mean I can press the big red button?
Yes, Vegeta.
The big red button that blows up the universe?
No. Just the big red button that says subscribe.
But what if pressing that button blows up the entire universe? And then I could become the Prince of all Saiyans once again!
But then we wouldn't be able to make any more episodes.
But then I would be in charge of the universe!
And with that being said, subscribe, that way you can know when we're dropping videos. Will be in your subscription feed. Hit the bell notification button, that way you get notified every time we drop a video. And Vegeta, tell them what it sounds like to be notified every time we drop a video. I don't know where I was going with that. I thought JJ might have...
You hear me scream! With rage!
That was more like it.
Yes! For I am the Prince of all Saiyans, and you are but an ant.
Say goodbye, Vegeta.
But why? I'm just getting started! I've just begun my rant of fury!
Excellent.
Huh.